When I've decided that I wasn't going to go back to court anymore, that I'd spent as much money as I could, I made the decision, I need to not think about court right now. I needed to only focus on me. And I think that that's really an essential part of all of our healing, whether you're going back to court or not. But I just separated the two. In my world, it was black or white. Like I can't have one foot in and one foot out. Because I thought if I go there, then I'm going to get sucked into the vortex of speaking out and getting angry and all that kind of stuff. And so I have for a long time just put it out of my mind. Like I really only want to focus on me. And when I say me, I really meant like the grief I'm feeling as a result of missing out on moments, memories, time together with my daughter, right? Lately, I've been seeing a lot more people, moms in particular, probably my algorithms, speaking out about the injustices that are being done in the courtroom. Now, know that in no way am I going to change my tone, and like focus with regard to your healing. That is always my priority. And also, I think now I'm more willing to explore the injustice side of it. I've restricted myself in all my content thus far. And like I said, I think it will always be, I know it will always be focused towards your healing. I think that it's a little bit crazy now that I think about it, to not also include the very real situations that many of us are in. If you have gone to court or if you're dealing with an active protective order, and that's the reason why you can't see your kids. In Texas, there was this huge Supreme Court case this week involving a mom who was representing herself, and she had gone to the appellate court, and then she went to Supreme Court. And because she didn't understand how to present evidence, she wasn't able to get that evidence considered back in the day. So now she's stuck with this lifetime protective order against her kids, lifetime protective order against her kids. So when her kids are, of age, I think one of them's 19 right now, the kids don't even have the right, I don't believe, to go seek their mom out because of this lifetime protective order. It was only an hour hearing. And if any of you are out of Texas, you might want to go watch it. But because of what the ruling ended up being, it's kind of anticlimactic, if you will, but it could have set a different precedent in the Supreme Court, and that could be used in different states. But they were arguing that it basically be thrown out and that the protective order, this lifetime protective order, be null and void. And if the dad wants to go and enter another one, he can. But this whole issue was all because dad had an attorney, mom didn't. Mom didn't know how to represent herself and how to present evidence. I think actually, now that I'm talking about this, I watched the Texas Supreme Court case, but I think, and I could be wrong about this, that the guy that does the Dragon's Den, I watch and I've talked to you guys about his podcast before, British guy, why can't I think of his name right now? Diary of the CEO. He had on an attorney that might have actually been talking about this very case this last week or whatever. That video is all over TikTok too. It's a pretty impactful video talking about the pitifulness, if that's a word, of the way that the courts are set up these days. Like how when the financials are not equal between dad and mom, and whoever is got more money, of course, is going to win, right? So, and I think that a lot of us can relate to that. So if you still feel activated when you think about, when you talk about, when you revisit any of your past, I think it's so it's imperative. It's not just important. I think it's critical to your healing and to your future relationship with your kiddos. If you want to advocate for them in the most up-leveled, best, efficient, effective way, that you get right with yourself and get right with whatever is activating you about your past, instead of avoiding it and avoiding the topic altogether. Like, I don't even want to go there. It just makes me upset. So many of us do this. And that's why I was telling you the beginning part of this is because that's basically what I had been doing, which is fine. That's the way I needed to handle it. That's the way maybe some of you need to handle it, right? Is that you can only deal with one thing at a time. 100%. But I think I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't say, just give yourself time to do that, right? To be like, okay, I'm only going to focus on me. But then set an actual date for yourself. If you want to, in the future, advocate for your child, for the relationship of you and your child's right to have a parent, both parents, and your right to have a relationship with your child, access to your child. I think it's very important for you to set a time limit on when you're going to start to focus on that. But you gotta I think you have to do the first part, whether you're doing that in conjunction with at the same time, like, how I didn't do it, or you do them, one after another. In order to do the best job you possibly can and the most loving thing for all, you've gotta get your head right and be able to go back and revisit all of the areas of what happened so that when the time comes, you don't enter a stress response in front of your kid or in front of a judge or in front of whoever when you're reconnecting with your child. It's so important for you to not shove that shit down. If you're on the path where you're like, I'm going to forget about all of this, I just do my thing and only focus on me and just hope that they'll come back someday. You do you, but I think there will be a link missing. If you ask me, this is my personal opinion. There will be a link missing in your healing if you don't bring out all the shame to yourself, revisit that stuff and clear it up for yourself to the point where when you go back and talk about it, you don't get activated and stress responsey. You know what I'm saying? It's really not funny for so many reasons. For so many reasons, I think it's important, but especially if you want to advocate for them in the future, even if you think you might want to. Because the longer that you wait, and I don't mean to make it like time scarcity here or anything, but the longer that you do wait, the more that you pile on top of that and sort of bury it down. And in an emotional, mental way, it hardens those memories and that trauma up, right? Grades it out, hardens it up in your system. And so it's that much harder to soften it up, loosen it up, and process it. So the sooner that you do go about it, when you know that you're like, you can handle it, which by the way, you can handle anything at any time, so long as you choose to. It's not going to kill you. It's just emotions that you'll feel. And the emotions are only happening because thoughts that you're thinking in your head. So it's really your angst in the moment of processing whatever shame you might have from the past can be lessened by reminding yourself that these are just thoughts that I'm thinking. It's just the story that I'm telling myself currently, what I'm making these past events mean for me today that's causing me to feel whatever anxiety or angst or whatever I'm feeling right now, you know? So that way it's less scary for you. But yeah, I just think it's so important that you love yourself enough, love your kid by getting right with yourself and getting right with however things went down. And I don't think it's for everybody. I mean, what I'm getting ready to say is, I don't think it's for everybody that everybody speak out. Not everybody's interested in that, and that is okay, obviously. But I come like my point of view on this is that those of us that have gone through it, we all do it in our different ways, right? Speak to others about what we've been through. But I think we all carry some sort of duty or it's almost like, when I say this, the word that's coming to me right now, please only take it for this context, but a gift that we've been given in this alienation. And I mean it only that we can then gift other people with our experience through it. I think that the whole point of us being here on this earth is to get good at this experience of all the emotions, right? And not suffering through our lives. Like there is a point of suffering, but not for the duration, right? And then once we get past the suffering, then I think it's our duties, our jobs, our gift to others to go share with them what we have been through and how they can get through it, right? So whichever way that you end up doing that, I really encourage you, if you're feeling that, if that's on your heart, that's on your mind, you really want to speak out about this, that you do it. There's a reason it's there. So please go out there and speak it in whichever voice is unique for you. all of us are similar, like the reasons why we became alienated. There are some similarities that we all share, but we're also so unique and our voices are much different. And so I encourage you to do you as you, especially these days, social media. And I'm not saying you all need to do social media, but the algorithms on most of the platforms reward you for showing up as you, for living into your own individuality, your own voice about things that you really believe in. And so this is really a great time to get out there. And I think moving forward, it's going to be even more. There's a really effective way to go out there and speak out about this. And again, I want you to do it your way. So there's no direction here, but I just think it's so much more effective when you can do it from a place of already being through the darkness and on the other side with the wisdom, as opposed to being, overcome with fear. So getting right with yourself, what I'm saying, so that you can gift that to those of us, other parents like us, that are maybe just starting this journey. Unfortunately, the more people that do speak out, the more change that we're going to be able to promote. And I think that's so important. Like my role, I don't see myself ever being, I'm thinking about some of my TikTok friends who are really going into the justice system and going and petitioning the courts and wanting to change the laws. That's not really where my interest lies. Not that I'm not interested in that. That's just not my bag, if you will. Mine definitely is on the healing aspect of it. And some of you may be interested in that too. I just encourage it all. We all are going to have a different spin. And the more light that we can bring to this fucked up situation that we're all find ourselves in, the more light we bring invite into each of our own lives as well, and to our children's lives. I think we're past the days of hush hush. Most of us anyway. I mean, I know if you've just entered this world and your situation is very active, meaning like you're feeling very threatened at the moment, then I'm not necessarily, you might not be ready for this, and I'm not the one to tell you, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I was just thinking about some of the other women, moms out there who are going through this and going through the injustices of the civil court system with regard to possession and access. I mean, I'm going to repeat myself. The more light that we can bring to the situation, the better it is for everybody involved. I feel really strongly about this. And like I said, I don't see my position changing as far as like what I'm interested in your healing. That's what lights my fire. Like that's what makes me, I feel like I'm thriving when I'm helping others. And I know that I do that well. But I really want to encourage those of you who are really interested in the legality, like in the way that the laws are written currently. And there's so much vagueness to like when it comes to the Texas law, for instance. In this one case, it was either going to be a protective order, which a lifetime order was never on the table when they went to court, when the mom and dad went to court. Nobody was asking for a lifetime protective order. Nobody. The judge just threw that in there, and that's what stuck. So she wasn't even, the mom who was representing herself didn't even know that she was up against something that could last a lifetime, and definitely not a protective order, because actually they were just, I think they were initially just asking to modify the custody. But things are so poorly, vaguely written in the law, not just in Texas, like in all over. And I'm sure you guys know that. And when we talk about like modification orders or custody orders in general, if you've been to court and you have a written custody order, you know how ambiguously written most of them are, unless you had somebody really look through it. There's so many loopholes. And I think that there can be a standard order that's written or available to everybody that addresses all of these little loopholes. So there's a lot of areas that we as parents can link on to, attach ourselves to, and task ourselves to look further into and speak out about. We think that it's just like with voting. What's one vote going to matter? I don't have a following. What is my voice going to matter? And it really, I'm telling you, it can matter a lot. The difference that you can make in people's lives will bring me to tears. Like, you will have no idea And the way that I look at it, I did not mean to get emotional about this, but this is so true. Like, we're so quick to say, I'm not going to make that much of a difference. Somebody else will do it better. It's just so not true. Like, don't do that to yourself and don't do that to those people who are out there waiting on you. If you have it in your heart that you want to go do something and you're not because of your own head, because of like either ego or fear or thinking that you're not enough, those people out there that are waiting on you, they're waiting on you. They're going to lose out. It's your voice that they're waiting to hear. So it's so important to get right with yourself so that you can. Even if you do it just like in your spare time, like you have a job and you're like, I don't want to go change my job. That's fine. You don't have to. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, you're already spending time on this anyway in your brain. Why not share that with other people? I get these messages all the time from Facebook and Instagram or whatever, like, thank you for sharing your story. It's been no, whatever. And then they say, I've really been wanting to share my story. So many of you. I'm like, go share it. Share it. Don't wait. Somebody just the other day, they were like, but I just need to wait and see what happens. Now, I understand if you're like, I need to wait and see what happens because you don't want to like screw anything up with your case. And like your lawyer has told you to, you know, put a sock in it or whatever. Okay, that's obviously right. But if you're waiting to see how it pans out, like whether they contact you again or how your story ends, just know too that you might be waiting for a really long time. And that might just be your survival brain trying to play tricks on you and trying to keep you in a place of not putting yourself out there. Your story can be equally as impactful in the middle of it. I'm still in the middle of my story. I don't know what's going to happen with my daughter and that's actually could be just for a lot of people out there who are in the same boat, who don't know what's going on with their story. That's going to speak to you guys. So don't discount or discredit the experience that you have or where you've been just because you think you're not there yet. And I mean, you can do this. It's just the one suggestion I have is to maybe not go out there and spew hate, or spew paranoia. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh because I know a lot of us out there, there's a chemical reason why that happens. So I shouldn't be laughing about that. But that will only add to the narrative that's already out there about alienated parents. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could help in a way because you think about it. And if the people who are educated on why the paranoia exists and the anger and there's a very good reason for the anger, right? But if they're educated about that, it can speak to the effects on us a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, do what you need to do. I guess really where it matters is for your future relationship with your kiddo. Speaking out in a way that, models to them is where I guess I'm saying that for. But actually, otherwise, any spot you're in is fine. If it's on your heart to do it, do it. I really encourage that. You're not too anything or not enough of anything to share your message. People out there need it. I think so many of us just discredit, discount where we've been or what we have to share. And that is such a trap that so many of us fall into. It's a lie. Like you don't have anything to share, that you don't have a voice. You find your voice. The only way to get a voice or like to figure it all out and see what your angle is, to do it, to practice it. And another thing, another option, if you've got some fear around looking some way, right? Not experienced, not clear, not whatever, you feel jumbled, which is very common for parents like us to feel not organized in our thoughts when we like it's organized in our mind, but then we go out to say something, it's like blah, blah, blah. You hear me do that all the time in these lives. In the beginning of this one, I was like, I don't know what I'm saying. Right. But it's okay. It's okay. The people that are supposed to hear it will, but also your first times are going to suck anyway. And so if you want, you could just do like unlisted YouTube videos just to get your bearings. And then you can start getting them out there. You don't have to, nobody really needs to see them. You can start a whole fresh YouTube channel that isn't linked to your name, that's just private or whatever for you if you want. Those videos are actually funny to go back. They're cringy of mine to go back and look at. They're still posted on YouTube. most of them anyway. And my hair was blonde. And I would read like the stuff that I had written, like right off of like cues, prompts. And yeah, it was a hot mess. I was a hot mess in the beginning, and that's okay. I was still finding my voice back then. And I think that's every person out there that's ever shared anything has the same kinds of, you know, stories. So that's what I have. Okay. Get out there. Go share your story because there's people waiting on you. And if that's not your thing, then that's cool too. But there's always something for everybody. It doesn't have to be on social media. Maybe you've got something probably in on your heart, in your mind. Hi, Trisha. Hi, Sean. Yes, I am still a hot mess. I know. Have you guys been here the whole time or did just get here?